And Jonathan, baby, if you can hear Granny.
Along the train tracks.
I'm asking for y'all's help.
Through the thick brush near Garden Oaks.
Granny loves you, little fella. Hang in there.
A search for a missing boy.
We need to find this little boy, please.
Grows more desperate by the hour.
We've heard one story where he was at the babysitter's and then he vanished from the babysitter's house.
Police are not only suspecting foul play in this case.
We heard another story where he actually returned and was spotted in the home of his parents.
But they are also interviewing the mother and stepfather separately.
And then his stepfather may have in fact been the last person that saw him.
We're looking, we're trying our best, baby.
I'm Jean Casares of In Session in for Nancy Grace tonight. You know, today, searchers were out. They were looking everywhere, and they still are. There is still a missing persons investigation. But all of a sudden, a little burned body was found in a drainage ditch 3.5 miles from where this little boy, Jonathan Foster, went missing. I want to go back out to Joe Gomez, reporter, KTRH News Radio. The mother has told authorities that there was a portable phone that was missing out of their apartment?
That's right, Gene. This makes it very interesting. I'll tell you why. The fact that there's a portable phone that's missing from their apartment, and the fact that the mother had apparently received some sort of emergency call once little Jonathan had apparently vanished from their home after he was left alone on Christmas Eve. Jonathan's mother says she was at work. She had initially received an emergency call from little Jonathan, but when she got to the phone, obviously the phone, nobody was there. She got a second call from a woman with a raspy voice. When she answered the phone, the woman with the voice answered, and Jonathan's mother identified her as Angela. She heard then the woman asked a little boy on the phone, "Is your mama's name Angela?" And the little boy said yes, and that's when the receiver hung up. Was that the phone? We don't know. A lot of questions remain, but clearly this is a very big movement here.
And police are saying that this little boy was home where he lived when he went missing, alone. Let's go straight out to Nally in Texas. Hi, Nally. Good evening.
Good evening, Miss Jean. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you very much. What part of Texas do you live in?
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. All right. A little ways from Houston, but same state. And you've got Interstate 10 going through Austin, too. Okay.
Yes, we do. But, you know, yesterday when you said that that Amber Alert went out, I didn't see it go on my TV. And usually, regardless if it was when that little baby went missing in South Texas, it showed up on our screen. And I didn't see, I went down 35 also after the show, and right. I didn't see the Amber Alert.
Right, right. Well, that is very interesting because it's a big state, but it was believed, and it still may be, that this little boy could be anywhere. What's your question, Nally?
My question is this. When was the actual last time this child was seen by the granny or anybody else alive?
Right.
And this story sounds way too familiar. And it sounds like that little boy who was killed by the mother and the stepfather in Idaho.
Yeah, and you know what else? It sounds like a lot of cases that we cover. And you're not going to believe, I'm going to tell you in just a second, what the mother, distraught and crying, but what she said today on camera. But first, I want to ask Michael Board, reporter, WOAI News Talk Radio, who was the last person to see this little boy?
The last person to see little Jonathan was his stepfather, and it was the early afternoon of Christmas Eve. That's when Jonathan left, said he was going to get a different video game to play, and we don't know if he left first or Jonathan left first. The last person to see him, the stepfather. The stepfather is being questioned by police. He is one of. They're not calling him a suspect. No family members are a suspect at this point. But they are being questioned by police. That tells you something.
But you are so right. They are not suspects. They are not persons of interest. But everybody, we want to show you what Jonathan Foster's mother said about her little boy. Through her tears, she was crying, but she said, quote, "He's a curious kid. He's a pest. I mean, he's a wonderful baby." To Mark Class, president and founder of Class Kids Foundation, coming to us tonight from San Francisco. What are your thoughts on that statement?
Well, before I get to that statement, I'd like to address the idea that about Amber Alerts in Texas. Texas is a huge state, and not every Amber Alert is issued statewide, so that might answer that lady's question.
All right.
I don't believe that I can understand why there was a problem issuing an Amber Alert. Children are kidnapped by sexual predators for revenge or on very rare occasions for ransom. And in this particular case, given the fact that woman with a raspy voice called up, seems to me that it doesn't fit any of those scenarios, and there has not been a ransom call made. Therefore, with the inconsistencies from the family, this becomes an incredibly confusing case. And I think that law enforcement was probably prudent in holding off, because I think that the answer to this case, and this is consistent perhaps with the mother's statement as well, might be a lot closer to home rather than far away.
How's it going in there, hon?
Almost ready.